SQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's December 5th, 2025. Me and you for two. It's the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. And we thank you for spending time with me over these next 120 minutes. A lot of stuff to do. Football, the Giants are off this week. They have their bye. And the Jets are playing the Dolphins. So we'll get into that. We have our two-pack for sure. But this is going to be a collaborative show. I want you to be involved as well. So there's a lot of stuff to hit on, a lot of stuff to talk about. And let's get to it. I am going to start right now with the present day in coaching and managing. Because there's a very interesting story in The Athletic by James Edwards III, who covers the Knicks for The Athletic. And it kind of illuminated what I've been trying to tell people for a number of years. Now, there are outliers for sure, but for the most part, teams are looking to hire coaches or managers that will be collaborative, that will not go rogue, will not be a lone wolf. And the more we dig down deep and try to figure why the Knicks let go of Tom Thibodeau, what James Edwards wrote today tells you essentially why Tom Thibodeau is no longer the head coach. What Edwards writes is that Mike Brown is very, very collaborative. Before each game, he goes over his rotation chart with Leon Rose, president of basketball operations of the Knicks. Goes over with him so that Rose will not be surprised, and if he has conversations during the game, why this was done, why that was done. Then also at the end of each game, he will meet with front office types to go over what they might tweak moving forward, right? In the story, it also says that Brown is very collaborative with his assistant coaches. Sometimes he'll let them draw plays during huddles and timeouts. Now, consider what I have heard about Tom Thibodeau. It was Tom Thibodeau's way or the highway. He did not collaborate with the front office. He did not take suggestions all that well from the front office. They obviously, and I think they were wrong on this, wanted him to play his bench more. And if you look at this year's bench and that bench that he had last year, this year's bench is a lot more usable than last year's was. So he pushed back on that. There were also complaints from what I heard from some of his assistants that he didn't really involve them in any of the decision-making process as well. He didn't do it. He was about, I'm the coach, I'm the head coach, and this is what head coaches do. They make the decisions. You acquire the players to the front office, and the assistants work with the players and practice and stuff like that. But during the game, I'm going to be the guy making the call. I'm going to be the guy diagramming the play. So Mike Brown is the complete diametric opposite of what Thibodeau was. Now, what's right, what's wrong? That's why I laugh when I hear people argue about baseball managers. How, there's no more Billy Martins anymore. There's no more Earl Weavers. No, they don't want those types of managers. They want managers that will collaborate with the front office, with their coaching staff, will listen to suggestions. It is all for one, one for all. It's not just one. And that's the way sports are now. Now, are there outliers? Of course there are. Of course there are. I'm sure Mike Tomlin calls all the shots with the Steelers. I'm sure that Andy Reid calls all the shots with the Chiefs. There are certain coaches that have earned that right. But even some of the best coaches and the best managers that you might consider great managers, they are highly collaborative. You don't think Dave Roberts works in concert with the Dodgers front office about what to do, what situations, the lanes to use and stuff like that? I mean, there's always a knock on Aaron Boone. I believe that Aaron Boone definitely makes the decisions during the game. I believe him when he says that. I know a lot of you within the sound of my voice, you don't believe it. There's nothing that I could say, and there's nothing that you could say that will convince you otherwise. And that's fine. That's what sports is about. You root a certain way, you believe certain things, and we move on from there. But I will tell you that Boone does work with the front office. They go over analytic charts and where pitchers might fit in the best parts. Does he deviate from what they say? Of course he does. Of course he does. And if it works, then it's no problem. If it doesn't work, I guess I'll have to explain why he deviates. And that's not just Aaron Boone. It's Carlos Mendoza, too. Most managers in baseball, they operate this way. And most coaches in basketball operate this way, collaboratively. So the days of the headstrong manager or the coach that calls all the shots, they're few and far between. And I think it's awfully hard for any of us to expect to put the milk back in the udder. I don't think it's going back. And, frankly, I don't think it should. As long as the manager or the coach has the discretion to make his decisions and somewhat deviate from what might be dictated from up top, I'm cool with it because I think information is important. So if a manager could derive information from a front office where they say, you know what, this pitcher probably works best against these batters in this line, that's not guessing. That's highly researched information that a Dave Roberts might get from the Dodgers front office. I truly believe, though, you've got to have the manager be the last say. And the way it works in this world, though, the manager shall have the last say. But if he is wrong a lot, he's not going to have his job. Because the information they're giving you is real-time information, and it's not made up, and it's not draconian. It's coming from high-level research on what works and what doesn't. Now, there have been instances, I'll just leave it at this, as an American League manager that is really a successful manager, but his front office really does dictate most everything that goes on. And one time he deviated from what was dictated. This was a couple of years ago. And it didn't work, but his team still won the game. Well, when he got to his manager's office after the game, some of the executives from the front office were sitting there, started cursing him and berating him. And he said, whoa, we won the game. And they said, you won the game despite you doing that wrong when you were told that that was not the thing to do. So, yeah, sometimes it does get draconian. And I think there is a line that it could cross. But the fact that Mike Brown is collaborating with Leon Rose in the Knicks front office, does that make him weak? No, it makes him smart because those are the rules of engagement to get the job. And again, when I was trying to investigate, why would they get rid of Thibodeau, who took them to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, as far as the Knicks have gone since 2000? The thing that I kept hearing from different people, he never listened to anybody. He didn't want to hear it from anybody. Now, if you want to defend Tibbs, and I'm a defender of Tibbs, you know what? It worked out pretty well. They did get to within 2 wins of going to the NBA Finals. Within 2 wins. And the team they lost to, the Indiana Pacers, turned out to be much better than all of us thought that they were. So they didn't lose to a team that was bad. You can say, well, the Knicks were favored in that series. Well, that doesn't mean that the odds makers are right by any stretch of the imagination. So Tibbs did it his way and took the team a long way. But the Knicks felt, you know what? We've got information to give. We need a coach that's a little bit more agreeable and pliable. And also his own assistant coaches felt that he was very, very exclusionary when it came to making decisions. Every decision you saw on that floor came from Tom Thibodeau's head. That's not a bad head to have information come from. This is an old, wise guy who knows exactly what he's doing, and it showed by the improvement that the Knicks made. But the front office could say, well, a lot of that improvement is we got some great players for Tom Thibodeau. And they did. They're the ones that got Jalen Brunson. They're the ones that got Josh Hart. OG Anunoby. They made those deals to give him the players that he can make the decisions on. But when you read the story, you'll see this is the new world. And for all of you that sit back and you watch the games and you're the fans, you're the people that pay the bills, and you want a guy who's going to be a screamer or who's going to be a guy who embarrasses his players, that's not the way it works in 2025 and moving forward. You can even look in the post-game press conference. Thibodeau was not expansive in his answers. Sometimes was short. Didn't give you much. Mike Brown is a chatterbox. Loves to talk. Gives you all the information. Opens up his soul. And that's the job. That's one of the main jobs now of a person leading a team. You're the face of the team. You are the liaison to the fans to tell them exactly what's going on. And the Knicks felt that Mike Brown would be better with that and would be more agreeable with some of the players and suggestions from them. So my advice to you, give that story a read because it does tell you about the new world that we live in and the things that you hope and dream for. That dictatorial type of leadership, it's not embraced anymore. It's not embraced by players, and it's not embraced by front offices who have information that they want to get to a manager or coach and have that information used and disseminated in the right way. I can't blame them because organizations are spending a truckload of money on getting this information, finding a better way to work a win or the most effective way to get to a victory. And they don't want to be ignored, nor should they be. There's too much time, effort, and money put into acquiring that information to just sit back and go, well, we have a coach that doesn't want to use it. Well, that coach is not going to be employed for a long time. The New England Patriots, they hung with Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick won. Bill Belichick was not collaborative. It was his way or the highway. But then a couple of losing seasons, the fact that he wasn't inclusive with the Kraft family, he lost his job. Despite 6 Super Bowls, despite making that organization so much money, that is not the way it's done anymore. I don't think Vrabel is any pushover, but I think that Vrabel has a better relationship with the Krafts and the front office. That's what you need. It's not the way it used to be. That's pretty much what I'm trying to tell you. And with James Edwards III and The Athletic trying to tell you about the Knicks, it's not that way anymore. It's not Red Holtzman and Danny Whalen, the only 2 people sitting on the bench as the Knicks won, 2 championships. No, that's not the way it is anymore. You take a look at an NBA bench, there's a second row of coaches. There's not enough room on that one row. There's a second row of coaches. They all have iPads, and those iPads have information. So before you knock a Dave Roberts or a Carlos Mendoza or an Aaron Boone, this is the way of the world. This is the way of the world. Again, outliers, sure. But those outliers better win. And if they don't win, they're going to lose their job. And the next guy that's going to be hired is going to be much more agreeable and collaborative. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Greg on the work truck. Start it off, Greg.
Leading off, I should say.
Yeah.
How are you on this Friday, Michael?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fine and dandy, thank you for asking. I couldn't agree more with your assessment. For context, I'm not a basketball fan, but I can relate to the baseball side. But you hit the nail on the head. Billy Martin isn't coming through the Yankee doors, and Wally Backman for sure isn't coming through the Mets doors to manage anything.
Nope.
It's it's like you said, it's going to be sunshine and daisies, as I put it, with the managers, where they're going to be these guys' best friend.
Well, not only the best friend of the players, but also to work closely with the front office and not dismiss them as being intrusive. They can't look at it as being intrusive. They have to look at it as being helpful. They've got information that they don't have, that the manager doesn't have working on his own. I mean, Tony La Russa, let's look at Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver used to keep individual matchups on index cards. He was well ahead of his time. He had people tracking that, maybe the trainer, Ralph Salvon, maybe. But he had information. Well, this guy's like 6 for 17 against this pitcher. And he used that. Now let's take that to the nth degree. Not only do they know that this guy's 6 for 17 against this pitcher, but the 6 hits he got were off of breaking balls. And this guy doesn't throw that breaking ball anymore, so that 6 for 17 doesn't really mean anything. That's the kind of information they're getting. That's the kind of information they're getting. You can't dismiss it. You might not like it. You might not like it because we've been raised in a different era. Well, now we have to grow just like the sport has grown. Mike Brown's done just fine with the Knicks. Is he going to take the team as far as Thibodeau did? We'll see. That's going to be the ultimate scorecard, right? That'll be the ultimate scorecard. Let's go to John and Chatham. John.
Hey, Michael. Yeah,
Hey, John.
you're so right about the general manager wants to be involved on every little thing. Wasn't there a time maybe they should go back to it that the manager was the general manager also? So you do away.
It's too much work.
The owner. Yeah, I know because there's so much to do and everything else, but I think the reason Tibbs got fired was he wasn't 100% on board with the trade. Randall and DiVincenzo were his kind of players, and I just think it was known, but not known to the media that he wasn't on board, 100% on board with that trade.
Well, I'm listen. I can't speak to that, John, because I've never heard that. He had already coached Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota, and they seemed like they worked over whatever problems they might have had. I just think it comes down to Tibbs was an old-time guy, didn't want people interfering from upstairs, and these were his friends. These are his closest friends in the world, like Leon Rose and William Wesley. But there were other people, too. There were analytics groups and stuff like that. He didn't want any part of it. Now, he looked at it, but he did what he wanted to do, and he coached the way he wanted to coach, and no one was going to tell him how to do it. And as long as you succeed, well, it gets done. Then you could keep your job. Now, you can make the argument, well, he did succeed last year. He didn't get the ultimate prize, but he certainly did as well as any Knick coach has done in forever, about a quarter of a century. But they want more, and they think to move, take that next step and to win that championship, they did not want an all-or-nothing guy, and that's what Tibbs was. And, I talked to a couple people around the Knicks who, I'm close with, and they're very familiar with what goes on. And they said, like, last year, Tom was, like, kind of brutal to be around. I mean, he just didn't want to hear it from anybody. He was very short with people. And these are people that, are part of the Knick organization. And as I said, some of the assistant coaches felt like why are we here? Well, why are we here if he's not going to listen to us? Let's go to Steven in New Jersey. Steven.
Hey, how you doing, Mike? How's everything going? Hope the family's
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm alive. Can't complain.
There you go. That's the ultimate.
Yes. Tom Thibodeau, you can see at times Tom Thibodeau arguing with Rick Brunson because Rick Brunson's pointing out, something that's going on the court, and Tom is literally just brushing him off. And it was a couple of times. It was in the Indiana series and in the Boston series. He just was like, all right, whatever. Like, he just walks off. And it's like, you can't be stubborn like that. You got to be able to listen to the staff. You got to be able to listen to everyone because they're all out there fighting for the same cause. And it's like, no one's above another. I mean, I know that you're a head coach, but it's like teams that flourish, they all, play with one another. They all work off one another. They all relate to one another, from the head coach to the owners down to the players. So, Mike Brown is doing it. Mike Brown, he just started. I've seen nothing but success. I've even seen players that weren't vocal as much last year being very vocal, speaking up to players that's not taking accountability when they're lacking on defense or lacking hustle or whatever. So I love what I'm seeing thus far. Do we need an extra boost to get over the hump? That might be so. But so far, so good on my end.
I agree. The only thing I'm concerned with, Steven, and I don't think it's Mike Brown, I just think it's the roster they have. They're not that great defensively. And that's a concern. But he has gotten more offensively out of Bridges than Thibodeau did. Now, Bridges did a lot offensively for Thibodeau when Brunson was out. But with Brunson in there, Brown has found an avenue for Bridges to be more effective offensively than he was last year, rather than just be limited to the corner jumper. He does have offensive skills. And the other night against the Celtics, he looked great, 35 points, and they kept getting him the ball. So I think he has changed the offense. He has quickened the pace, but the defense has not been good. And the defense could be the thing that actually gets them, but it's not because he's not listening to the front office or anything like that. It's because that's the team that they have. Jalen Brunson's not a good defender. Karl-Anthony Towns is not a good defender. That's 40% of their starting five. So we'll see if somehow they make moves or can improve, but that's the issue. I think they've got to be very happy with Brown at this point. Let's go to Dave in Westchester. David.
Oh, thanks for taking the call, Michael.
I
just wanted to bring up a point. You were talking about the precursor to the Achilles.
Yep.
Years ago, I'm the same age as you. Years ago, Earl Monroe demanded a trade. He was injured. He didn't demand a trade to the Knicks, but he demanded a trade. The Knicks traded for him for two guys, Stallworth and Reardon, and they won a championship. I'm saying you don't have that many opportunities to get a superstar. In my opinion, the Knicks have had maybe 5 superstars in their history. Okay, they haven't won in 50 years. I make the trade yesterday, the day before, today, tomorrow.
All right, let me stop you, though. Let me stop you. Who are you giving up? Who are you giving up? I want to know who you're giving up.
Who am I giving up? I give up either Bridges and Cat or OG and Cat. Somebody on the internet had it worked out perfectly. Kyle Kuzma and somebody else, and Giannis for, I forgot who it was, Cat, somebody else, and some. And
so you'd be willing to give up OG on a team that doesn't play great defense?
Yes. All right, I want to ask you a simple question. Mm-hmm. Would you be happier if the Knicks go to the finals and lose in 6 games this year, or take Giannis right now and don't give him his 2 to 4 weeks, give him 8 weeks? This way he's completely healed. He's fine. As long as we're in the top 8, who cares? Right. Okay? You don't get a chance to get a superhuman superstar every day. Somebody may come in there and sneak in and get the guy. That's my point. Okay? I'm not happy with them going to the 6th game of the finals and losing to OKC. I would rather have Giannis on my team, take OG or Bridges and Cat, and I'd be much happier.
So you're saying if they don't make the deal, they go to the 6th game and lose in the finals. Okay, so if they get Antetokounmpo, where do they go, Dave? What's their
where do they go?
Yeah.
My opinion is they have percentage-wise, they have a better chance of beating OKC. There's no guarantee. They may lose too, but they have a better chance. You don't give up on a superstar. A superstar. Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Willis Reed. Those are superstars. You're not getting any. Jalen Brunson's not a superstar, no matter what you say. He's not a superstar.
I'm interested to get your take on this because I don't know where I would stand. Was Carmelo a superstar?
Yeah, he had no team on him. No team with him. I would consider him a superstar.
Essentially, you're right. And essentially, Dave, I agree with you. If you can get Giannis, you get him. But I do want to make sure he's healthy because if you, in fact, give him the 8 weeks, like you said, you might lose a lot of games without Cat and without the other player that you're teaming up to get Antetokounmpo. But if you believe what Doc Rivers said, Antetokounmpo has never demanded a trade. Now, that could be semantics. Maybe the agent has talked about it and there were reports by Shams Charania, who was locked in more than anybody, that they did discuss a deal during the offseason. So I'm not fighting getting Antetokounmpo. That'd be unbelievable. And I would trade Karl-Anthony Towns for Antetokounmpo. In fact, I would try to make it work without Cat. Because if Cat could end up being teamed up with Antetokounmpo, that's a scary proposition. And I'm going to leave it to a front office that, for the most part, has done a great job. And I trust them to do the right thing and come up with a package that doesn't weaken them considerably. But you might take away your chance to win this year. Especially it takes a while for, you say give them 8 weeks off. Well, there's got to be some cohesion with what they're doing. And they've got to, know where everybody is at any given time. It takes a long time to do that. So that's an interesting aspect of this as well. Maybe you better your chance to win a championship next year. But this year, it's all open for you. This year, there are some teams in the East that have, proved out to be very, very good. But next year, Halliburton's back, Tatum's back, and then Indiana becomes an impediment. And the Celtics, although they've played much better than a lot of people thought they were going to, they become a major impediment when you add Tatum to Brown and White. But this is the year that the Knicks want to make a run for it. Can they make a run if they make a late deal like this without the cohesion? That's the big question. That's what I worry about. We got so much more, so many topics I have to talk about with you today. I'm excited about it. I haven't booked a guest, anything like that. It's just me and you for two. So you take part in the proceedings, but there's a lot of good stuff that we could really pick apart. Hey, FanDuel Friday is turning it up with NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all designed to bring that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo, it's your weekly pregame. NBA Happy Hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, only on FanDuel, the official sports book partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/K to grab your reward before the clock expires. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonuses, rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737. 800-606-8737.
Whether you're shopping, gaming, or streaming this Black Friday season, don't take slow for an answer. Get Optimum Fiber for the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds, starting at $25 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com to switch. Act now and get a full year of Netflix, an unlimited mobile line, a $400 prepaid card, and more, all on us. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
1 in every 6 men is likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That's why New York Presbyterian wants to remind men over 50 to book a prostate cancer screening. A simple blood test is all it takes. It could save your life. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester at locations near you. Schedule your annual prostate cancer screening today at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
The holidays are here, and Amazon Pickup is your MVP of package pickup. Need that perfect gift like a brand new jersey for the big game? With Amazon Pickup, you can grab your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule at no extra cost. It's fast, it's easy, and it keeps your holiday surprises tucked safely away. So whether you're running from work or heading to the holiday party, Amazon Pickup makes holiday shopping worry-free. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager. Hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Jets and the Dolphins on Sunday. We'll have our 2-pack for sure. I went 1-1 last week, so I'll have a couple of picks. That should be interesting. They're not mainstream games. Let's put it that way. But I think you'll enjoy them. Hey, Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Devils host the Golden Knights at the Prudential Center. Don LaGreca on the call. 7:30, the Knicks host the Jazz at Madison Square Garden. Coverage will begin at 7 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. Let's go back to the phone calls, talking about the new age in sports where it's collaborative from top to bottom, and it's not just resting at the feet of the coach, and you have to have relationships with players as well, and be able to explain and transfer the information that you're getting from up top to the people that have to put it into action and make it seem sensible to them. Let's go to Jamie in Yonkers. Jamie, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Great. So I've been meaning to call in for several years now about this. I think the lens that I choose to look at baseball analytics through, and I'm curious for your thoughts on this, is similar to the stock market. If you're looking at a mutual fund or any kind of financial services product, what's the warning at the end of every advertisement? It's that past performance does not necessarily indicate future performance.
Right,
and
but that's the way to bet, though, Jamie, right?
Well, maybe yes or maybe no, but then also keep in mind that, every hedge fund on Wall Street relies on quote-unquote analytics, yet fewer than 50% of fund managers beat the S&P 500 index.
Right.
So I'm just saying there are serious limitations, and I think part of the Yankees' problem is messaging. It's that publicly they'll cite analytics, whereas I think some other teams, even those that are as deeply involved, maybe don't cite it quite as much as they do.
But, okay, give me an example of how they cite it.
Oh, well, they said, we were looking for the right lane to get this guy involved in. I mean, to me, that implies analytics, right? Those kinds of comments.
Let me throw this at you, Jamie, because this is an interesting conversation. So would it be better if a manager just, manages from the seat of his pants rather than without the information?
No. I'm not saying that at all. And obviously, you always say that analytics remove the human element, and you're obviously 100% dead right. But I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, like, people, I think, just need to understand that, they're relying on past results and past trends to try to predict future trends. But let's say you remove a hitter because, that hitter is, you don't want him to face pitcher XYZ because of his inability to hit a right-handed slider that moves in a certain plane, right? Well, maybe that pitcher doesn't have, the same handle for that slider. So that's where human element comes in, and that's why, Aaron Boone and Mendoza are paid and to figure things out like that, right?
I hear everything that you're saying, and I don't think that there's anything whatsoever that is 100%. I mean, if anybody had a stock market plan that's 100%, they'd be a billionaire in weeks. So I think you try to increase your odds, and it's not 100%. It doesn't totally dictate what's going to happen by looking at the past. But what's the old cliche that goes back before analytics even reared its head was, if you don't study history, you're doomed to repeat it. So you've got to study history, and I think it's more detailed than is even made available to us. You're fixating on the Yankees, but I can tell you the Dodgers are an incredibly highly analytic organization. And I think most teams now in baseball, we're talking, have some level of analytics, but only one team can win. Don Mattingly once told me, you could bring in the right relief pitcher at the right time. That was the move. That was the right move to make. And you know what? He didn't execute. And he gave up a big hit. And they'll say you made the wrong move. But he explained it wasn't the wrong move. It was the right move. The pitcher didn't execute. So I guess this is a long-winded way to say I want every bit of information I could get. I don't fight against analytics like most people. And the one thing that I find that is a bit of a flaw when it comes to analytics is they cannot put a number on an intangible. Heart, desire. They don't really go crazy over clutchness and stuff like that. And I think that's where you have to allow the coach of a basketball team or the manager of a baseball team or the coach of a football team to have the leeway to say, I think this guy is better in this situation, although the numbers would tell me otherwise. And I always quote this one line that Joe Torre gave me, because Joe Torre was not going to be collaborative and have the front office send down a suggested lineup. He didn't want it, and that's why he didn't last, despite winning 4 championships and going to World Series all those years. He said, the numbers might tell me it's time to bring that guy in from the bullpen. But I know the guy I have on the mound, let's say it's David Cone, would really kill a small farmland animal in order to get this guy out. And I don't know if the guy in the bullpen feels the same way. So I'm going to take my chance going against the numbers and the trends that tell me to go to the bullpen, because I know the guy on the mound has the innards to perform this better than the guy that I'm bringing in. That's where I think you have to give leeway to a Mike Brown or a Carlos Mendoza or an Aaron Boone. They know their players better than anybody. They know, okay, it might be the time to bring in player X, but the guys upstairs do not realize that player X just broke up with his girlfriend and is miserable and has been sleeping in the back room trying to, in a fetal position because he's upset over losing his girlfriend. Numbers are not attached to that. That's why I think when I say collaborative, I mean collaborative. I think the numbers are really, really important. I think that the Knicks front office having a say with Mike Brown, really, really, really important. But Mike Brown knows stuff about his players that the front office and the numbers crunchers might not know. I think it has to all work together. Has to all work together. Let's go to Frank in New Rochelle. Frank.
Hey, what's up, Mike? You know, to the Knicks point, so I agree with you. Towns and Brunson are weak defensive players, although Brunson continuously leads the league or in the top 5 in taking charges, which is a factor for him defensively. But they get to the Eastern Conference Finals with these 2 weak defenders, and now a year later, they're around the same area in team defense, and as you have said numerous times, they're 28th in three-point defense, which was never the case under Tibbs. So when you give credit to Brown, I'm trying to, but I'm having a difficult time. They have pretty much the same. They have better personnel. I know 2 guys are hurt, but OG should be back. Tibbs never had the luxury of going 9 deep. He just didn't. Shamet was hurt last year. They had Robinson and they had and McBride. Right. So I don't know. If defense is going to be the priority, which it isn't with Brown, it's just not. Like it just can't be if you're with Charlotte.
Right.
With 28th and 29th defending the free. How much more Knicks fans? We're great at home, but you need to win on the road. You have to be tough on the road. It's not a great sample yet, but I mean, right now, they just wilter in the fourth quarter on the road to date. I'm going to give them more time, but I need to see this team with more toughness, and that comes from Brown, just like it did Tibbs. Same thing.
I agree with everything you're saying, and you know, Frank, the ultimate report card is going to be how they do at the end of the year, how far they go. Will they go to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals? Will they go to the NBA Finals? Will they get eliminated in the first or second round? Then you'd say it was a failure. But if they go to about the same places they went last year with Tibbs, right? Then it comes down to this. The front office feels more comfortable with Mike Brown, so they'd rather go that route. They would. I think Tibbs, and I'm a fan of Tibbs, I think in their mind, again, when you wear out your welcome with people that love you, like Leon Rose, I mean, inseparable for years with Thibodeau, represented him as an agent. Same thing with William Wesley. And those guys got tired of the my way or the highway stuff. But the ultimate evaluation will be, do they go further this year with Brown than they did last year with Thibodeau? That's what it's going to come down to. Let's go to Mike in L.A. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. I just want to make a point. I wanted to get your thought on it about more of the collaboration with managers in baseball. I think it correlates to things outside of just baseball. I'm a film director in Los Angeles, and I see it with studios, how we have to collaborate more with studio heads and studio owners that interfere more with the art. Where back then it was the same with managers. They just get to control the team. And film directors used to sit back there and just make their movie and get the money from the studios. But now you see it with government, with college football, and boosters are deciding coaches, and movie studios are getting it and interfering with art. And I think it has a lot to do with there's just way more billionaires now than there was before, and the guys on top just aren't sitting around anymore and kind of want to stay in everything in entertainment. I want to know what you think about that.
And you know what, Mike? It's a great point, because and there's also those outliers, because I'm sure Scorsese does not bend to the will of somebody. There are still some people left over from the way it used to be. I'm sure that James Cameron does not change his movie. But if you're trying to make a movie now, you are going to have to be collaborative. You just are. No, otherwise, you're not going to get the funding.
And the outliers are in sports as well. You know, there's great managers, there's great coaches, and there's always a few outliers. Those are the guys that go into the Hall of Fame. Those are the guys that get immortal in what they do. But for the majority, you know, not everybody's going to be a Joe Torre, not everybody's going to be a Dave Roberts. For most people, and it's a little bit more difficult. And I think those people got involved with the entertainment, with the creative process, and now you have to move differently. And I changed my ways around here and changed my game due to what's happening, and I see in sports, and it's amazing.
Well, one thing that I would push back on you, Mike, Dave Roberts is very collaborative with that front office. He wouldn't have had the job. And he wouldn't have kept the job with some of the, at the time, seemingly curious moves that he made in the postseason. But those moves were collaborative moves that the front office suggested and stuff like that, and he put into play. So, Dave Roberts is not some lone wolf like, he's not Billy Martin or Joe Torre or Lou Piniella. Dave Roberts works closely with Andrew Friedman and that front office. And listen, we're living in an era now with AI that, they're going to make a lot of AI is going to make a lot of decisions for us. And I'm sure AI is coming into play in some progressive front offices as well. Because you could say, hey, that's information too. So they're going to shove all the information into, artificial intelligence, and they're going to spit out, this is the way the game should roll. Again, I think that the coach or the manager should have the right to deviate somewhat from that because AI doesn't know that player X broke up with his girlfriend. AI doesn't know that. But they can give you a guide to go which way if everything is according to plan. And I think that with analytics over a long haul, it will prove right. And that's why analytics don't work as perfectly in the postseason because a short stretch might not work. You have to really let it breathe to let all of the different models play out. That's why you end up winning, I don't know, in basketball you might win 60 games. But over a best of 7 series, that all might not work out the way you want it to, and that's why you lose that series. That's why the Yankees could win 94 games in the regular season, but in that one series against the Blue Jays, it all didn't play out the way they wanted. So, yeah, there's good and bad to it. And I think over time it'll be tweaked more where it will work even better in shorter bursts. And I've said this before. I think I've said it twice before on the show. It's like if you play with a system in blackjack, if you play for a couple of hours, you'll end up, probably making some money unless you run into a string of bad luck. If you play one shoe, it might not work. If you hold on, if you have a 12 and the dealer's, showing a 5, you might not take the hit and the dealer turns around the card and the other card's a 6 and bang, he hits a 10 and then you lost. But over a long stretch, that is going to play out. That's going to play out and it's going to work. 1-800-919-3776. We'll come back. More to talk about. Big football in the second hour as well. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds. Resilience matters. And history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers competing on one of the sport's most storied stages. Don't just watch greatness, experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SamwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
The holidays are rolling in, and if men in your life are struggling with their holiday wish list, tell them to add Manscaped to make gift-giving easy, fun, and completely stress-free this year. From the beard hedger to the lawnmower trimmer, Manscaped's precision tools keep you looking sharp, feeling confident, and ready for every event and celebration all season long. These aren't just stocking stuffers, they're upgrades for your daily routine. And right now at Target, you can save 20% on the Lawnmower 4 and 3 kits, Handyman, and the Beard Hedger. Hurry up, supplies won't last long.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Having a good time with you on a Friday. ESPN New York Holiday Party. Next Friday, it's back. This show, the Michael K. Show, and Don Hahn and Rosenberg, they're bringing the holiday cheer at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island. That's on Friday, December 12th, a week from today. We're once again collecting unwrapped toy donations this year to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation. It all kicks off at 1 p.m. with this show on Friday, December 12th at your mother's house. It's brought to you by Amazon Pickup, Security Dodge, and Spiked Aid, made for big city social stamina. Now, if you're a Jet fan, you should settle in tomorrow and watch the Big Ten championship, because it's going to be Ohio State against Indiana. And of all the quarterbacks that we know will be in the draft, at the top of the list is Fernando Mendoza of Indiana. And we've had Paul Feinbaum on with us. We have him on every Tuesday. And you know, he said something really interesting, that Indiana has not played a very stout schedule. You know, they've gotten the draw in the Big Ten where they have not played the best of the Big Ten, so to speak. Well, they're going to get probably the best team in the country on Saturday against Ohio State, undefeated. And Indiana's undefeated too. Let's see if we're still looking at Mendoza in such a positive way after facing the Ohio State defense. It's the best defense that he has faced. And I know there's a lot of Jet fans that are angered a bit that the Jets have won games recently and takes them away from getting the number one pick, which could be Mendoza. Now, but by the time the draft rolls around, maybe Oregon's Dante Moore will come out. Alabama's Ty Simpson will come out. But here's what I would say to Jet fans. as you're evaluating, and the Jets will be evaluating Fernando Mendoza as well, the quarterback for the Hoosiers. The top 2 teams that will pick, right, in the draft, if the season ended today, would be the Titans and the Giants. Well, the Titans have Cam Ward. They used the top pick on him. The Giants have their quarterback of the future in Jackson Dart. So all the draft capital that the Jets have collected, they have 2 teams at the top that in all likelihood should not, would not, probably won't want to select a quarterback. So it's up for bid. If you see Mendoza shred the Buckeyes, right? If you see him shred the Buckeyes and you say, oh, that's the guy, now he's proven it against a top-flight college team, then you could make that move. Like the Giants, they didn't have a chance to take Drake May. The top 3 teams in that draft wanted quarterbacks. They were going to select a quarterback. The Commanders, and by the way, Jaden Daniels is playing this week, the Bears, and the Patriots. There was no way for the Giants to move up. And they tried. They offered a lot to New England. New England said, no, we're taking Drake May. So in that situation with the Giants winning some games that they didn't necessarily have to win, it hurt them. But nothing can hurt the Jets if, in fact, the Titans and the Giants remain 1-2, because those picks could be had. Now, you might have to give up some of that capital, but that's why you accrued those 5 first-round draft picks for a situation like this. But again, let's watch how Mendoza does against Ohio State. That's going to be a big-time litmus test. All right, there's something to look forward to on Sunday at 7:30. And it could make New York baseball fans extraordinarily happy. I'll tell you what that is. Again, 7:30 Sunday has nothing to do with football. Has to do with baseball. And has to do with some fans' favorite baseball player ever. We'll talk about it when we get back on the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-731-4558 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-731-4558 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-731-4558 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Ox Spine at New York Presbyterian is always in pursuit of a better way to heal the spine. We're getting more people moving again with minimally invasive, non-surgical, and surgical treatments with innovative solutions for every back and spine condition and your unique needs. Expert spine care is available now across New York City and Westchester. Find a doctor at nyp.org/oxspine. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Holding. Defense.
The ref totally blew that call.
Oh, I'm sure he'll make the right call next time.
It's too late. It cost us the game.
Well, it's just one game.
That loss eliminated us from the playoffs.
Oh, the playoffs are on so late. Now you'll be well rested.
Okay, I need you to stop talking now.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Welcome back to the show. It is a big Sunday, well, really weekend, for fans of some players that this might be their last chance to get into the Hall of Fame. And one of those guys is Don Mattingly. So what takes place this weekend is called the Contemporary Era Committee. So those that didn't make it with the writers' vote, they get a chance now with a 16-member panel. 16-member panel. You have to get 12 of those votes in order to get in. Mattingly has come close before. Some think that he and Dale Murphy have a real chance to get in. Now, each of the 16 members could vote for 3 players. So that limits, who's going to be able to make it. These are the members in the committee. It's a hodgepodge of players, executives, owners, and writers. Ferguson Jenkins, Jim Cott, Juan Marichal, Tony Perez, Alan Trammell, Ozzie Smith, and Robin Yount. Milwaukee owner Mark Attanasio, Angel owner Artie Moreno, Doug Melvin, former GM, Kim Eng, former GM, Tony Regan's former GM, guy who's so bright in terms of numbers and used to run the Elias Sports Bureau. Steve Hurt is one of the members. And the 2 writers are Jason Stark and Tyler Kepner, both of The Athletic. So that is the Contemporary Era Committee. So there are people that are on the list, Valenzuela, Gary Sheffield. But Murphy and Mattingly seem like they probably have the best chance. Now, what's going to be interesting is that Bonds and Clemens are on the list to be voted on. And many people, and I think they're wrong about this, they think that this is the best chance for those guys to get in if they get away from the writers. And I think the complete opposite. Now, it takes 75% of the writers, it's about 350 writers, to get in, to get elected to the Hall of Fame. And the writers, for both Bonds and Clemens, got up to 60%. They both got up to 60% of the vote. So it's not like they were ignored. There was a big swath of voters that said, you know what? They were the best at what they did. I don't care about anything that they might have done. Neither one of them failed tests. I'm going to vote for them. But they didn't have enough of those people. And I think what hurt them is a lot of the hardline older voters, they didn't want them in. They would not vote for them. I think the younger voters skewed toward putting them in. But I think players and former players, they protect the Hall of Fame even more so than the writers might. So you have to look at the players here. Fergie Jenkins is old time. I don't know if he would vote for Bonds or Clemens. Jim Cott in the past said, who are we to judge these people? Who are we to judge these people? You know, who knows if it was available to us that we wouldn't do it. So to me, he's a maybe. Juan Marichal, I don't think he'll vote for them. Tony Perez, even in his Hall of Fame speech, he kind of took a shot at steroid users. I don't think he's going to vote for him. Alan Trammell, I would guess no. Ozzie Smith, I would guess no. And Robin Yount, I'm not certain, but I would guess no. Atanasio and Moreno, your guess is as good as mine. I'd say the front office people would probably vote no. Melvin, Eng, Reagans. Again, my guess is Steve Hurt would say no. And I'm not sure when it comes down to Jason and Tyler. I think Jason has actually voted for some guys that have been connected to steroid use. I'm not certain about Tyler. But I don't see 12 votes there for either Bonds or Clemens. I don't. I think there's so many people in baseball, though, that are going to root for Don Mattingly to get it. And Dale Murphy. Dale Murphy is a guy who was really liked. And Don Mattingly was beloved throughout baseball by all players. And there's a 6-year period when Mattingly played where he was about as good a player that has ever lived. But after the back injury happened, he averaged about 10 to 12 home runs over the last 5 years, a year. Wasn't the same player. But when you look at his numbers and you put them alongside Kirby Puckett's numbers, they're almost identical. And Kirby Puckett's in and Don Mattingly's not. So I think the fact that Mattingly gets a lot of love from former players who appreciated the way he played the game, and he wasn't a showboat or anything like that, I think he's got a chance. And I'm going to tell you one thing. On Monday, when we open the show at 1 o'clock, if Don Mattingly's a Hall of Famer, I'm going to be in a good mood. I'm going to be in a really, really good mood. Because he's a Hall of Fame person. I've told you that before. And for those 5 or 6 years, he was about as good as anybody who's ever played. But it's the other years that make you give pause. The one time he played in the postseason, that 5-game series against Seattle, he was like old-time Donnie. But it comes down to 7:30, we'll know, on Sunday. All the football games will be over except for Sunday Night Football, and we can concentrate on baseball right then, and the winter meetings essentially start on Sunday. So I'm jacked up for Don. I hope that he gets it. Also want to throw this out at you. So the MLB Network is doing a special on Game 7 of this year's World Series, which was a classic game that the Dodgers won in 11 innings. And it's going to be on December 11th at 7 p.m. on the MLB Network. I'm just wondering, I don't know how many Blue Jay fans we have that listen to the show. Will you watch? Or will you not? Because it's too painful. Because although it was painful, the Blue Jays played a great game. If Hoffman doesn't give up that home run to Rojas, we're talking about the Blue Jays being a champion. But you're going to have to watch that home run. But there are other plays, too, that were just phenomenal where the Blue Jays, they excelled. Blue Jays played great in that 7-game set because no one thought the Blue Jays had a chance, although I picked the Blue Jays in 6. No one thought, most of the baseball cognoscente, well, they have no chance. Well, they did have a chance. And only Yamamoto, I think, kept them from winning the World Series. So I guess I could ask Yankee fans this. Would you watch a retrospective of the 2001 World Series, which was one of the greatest World Series ever? I would. Met fans, would you watch a retrospective of the 2015 World Series against the Royals? I don't know. If I'm a Blue Jay fan, maybe it's still too raw. But I'd be curious to see Bob Costas and Tom Verducci break down all the big moments. I'm going to watch it, but I didn't have a dog in the fight. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go back to our co-host, Ira in Staten Island. Ira, what do you got?
Michael, how are you? Good
I'm
point
great.
about Saturday night. But, you know, it's funny. I saw Justin Fields play against big-time schools. He looked great. Zach Wilson had a lower schedule. You know how that played out. Sam Darnold played good competition, and that worked out well. But, you know, at the end of the day, Jets are going to pick somewhere between 7 and 10, and they're not giving up 3-4 draft picks to go up to number 1. Unless it's a completely another Peyton Manning, and I don't think Mendoza is another Peyton Manning. So I think the Jets are going to skip on their quarterback. I didn't believe that was going to be possible, but I think they're going to wait to the following year.
And I think that might be the play, Ira, because the following year, if Moore comes out and Simpson comes out, all of a sudden that's a great quarterback class, and you also have Arch Manning, who would come out the following year as well. Maybe it is. Maybe, again, it's Jet fans don't want to hear another year of building, but maybe you could fill in the other parts of the team with the draft this year and skip on the quarterback. But, again, Mendoza's looked great, Ira. I don't know how much of him you've seen, but is he a guy that you're going to trade a lot of draft capital to move up? I'm not sure you can.
Yeah, I'm not sure they can, but you know what? And I know a lot of GMs will say it. If you target that guy and you believe that's your guy,
Then
you
go
do
for
whatever it takes to go get him.
Right, like the Giants did with Manning.
That's exactly right. So we'll see. We'll hope for the best. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw Minnie's tweet or you mentioned it already. Brady Cook's number 2. Justin Field has a mysterious knee injury. He hasn't played, but he has a knee injury.
Oh,
I think
wow.
it's very convenient that they did that.
Interesting. So now Tyrod Taylor definitely has to stay healthy. Otherwise, we'll get a look at another quarterback. Ira, enjoy the game this weekend. Have a good weekend. 1-800-919-3776. Steve in Chappaqua. Steve.
Mike, number one, your show is amazing. My favorite of your two guest hosts weekly are Lupica and Sims. They're both phenomenal.
Thank you.
I have a take on the World Series that I think is kind of interesting. Game 7, Ohtani gives up a 3-run homer to Bichette in the first inning. Yamamoto gives up a drive that should have won the game for Toronto, but for a phenomenal catch. He would have been the GOAT. Ohtani would have been the GOAT. And they came back because of home runs, not from Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, but from Muncy, Rojas, and Will Smith.
Yep.
You can't make up that narrative.
Baseball.
The judge is, he's not good in the postseason. It takes a lot of things to win.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, when people talk about, well, you got to spend the most money, right? So the Dodgers clearly spent the most money. Clearly. And they had to, first of all, they got into the playoffs as a wild card. For all intents and purposes, they probably should have lost the World Series because the Blue Jays overall outplayed them. The Blue Jays just didn't have a counter to Yamamoto, you know, pitching on no rest. But the Dodgers just got by the skin of their teeth by a team that was, you know, against a team that was fifth in payroll. And the Dodgers were far and away number 1. Yeah, does it help cover up some mistakes? Sure it does. You know, we talked yesterday, like if the Yankees decide to stay under $300 million. It doesn't mean doom. It just means that the front office has to get creative. And I believe in this front office. I believe that this front office will get creative. You think they're going to go into a season and not want to be in a competitive team that has a chance to win a championship? I don't believe it. I've been around this organization too long to believe that they're just going to cash in their chips and go, well, not this season. They will be a really, really good team when it's all put together. You can't judge it now on December 5th. The winter meetings haven't even happened yet. Let's see what they do. I think Brian Cashman can pull a rabbit out of the hat. And I also believe, and I've long disagreed with people who say this, Hal Steinbrenner wants to win just as much as you want him to win. For those that say all he cares about is making a profit, he wants to win as much as you want to win. You know, there's ego involved. An owner wants to be able to put together a team that won. And the team in 2009 that won, that was Hal Steinbrenner's team. His dad was still alive. Hal Steinbrenner was calling the shots. So, desperately wants to win. And if push came to shove and they had to go over $300 million, would I be surprised if they go over $300 million? Not at all. He's done it before. So you have to believe in him, and you have to believe in Cashman. I know there's a lot of Yankee fans that don't. That's your choice. I've seen enough of them that they put together a really good team every single year. When have they ever put together a team that you go into the season and you go, well, they have no chance of making the playoffs? When? So even if they stay under 300, I think somehow they'll make it work. And John Heyman reporting today, the Yankees are very much engaged on Bellinger. Very much engaged. Does it work out that they sign him? Who knows? I mean, we're not O's the mentalist. But if they're engaged, that means they're in the game. It's not like they're stepping away, well, this is going to be too rich for our taste. They're engaged with him. Let's see how it turns out. Let's go to Danny in Long Island. Danny.
Good afternoon, Michael. First of all, a feel-good story, if I may drop one in. The punt returner for the Detroit Lions last night, Tommy Kennedy, local kid from Long Island, father a captain in the NYPD, a walk-on, never got drafted, played lacrosse in college, and keep working, kids. Dreams can come true.
That's awesome.
Got a game ball in the locker room. How great was that?
That's great.
Now, two things. As far as Mendoza is concerned, like you said, he hasn't played the difficult schedule. And the Steelers picked Will Howard last year. He won the national championship with Ohio State. After 4 years at Kansas State, Ohio State said, this is the guy we believe in. He threw for 4,000 yards in the highest pressure, in the highest situations on national television. He wasn't just handing the ball off. He passed for over 4,000 yards, and he was a sixth-round pick in the draft. So I think, and I'm not an expert in college football by any stretch, but I think Will Howard was a lot more of a prospect than Mendoza is. So Mendoza might just be fortunate that there isn't a lot of great quarterbacks coming out this year, that he's the one. Look what happened a couple of years ago. It was Pickett and this other guy, and neither one of them ended up being started. They were both first-round picks, and neither one of them panned out. So sometimes just in the right draft where there isn't a lot of competition.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think a couple of years ago, let's say Mendoza, the same player is coming out a couple of years ago, he's probably a second-round player, maybe a third-round player.
Now, I want to talk about Mattingly because I've been calling for 25 years. I'm a Steve Garvey guy. I'd be very happy for you, Mattingly, and all the Mattingly fans. He's a good guy. He's a baseball lifer. There's something wrong with me when guys get elected because they hung around the sport for 40 years and they make more friends. Jim Cott is one of the people that's going to vote. I don't care if Mattingly's in the Hall of Fame. He was a great player. But Mattingly wasn't significantly better or even as good, in my opinion, as Steve Garvey, equal to Hernandez and a bunch of other people. And I don't like people who you stick around the sport for 30 years and all of a sudden you're getting better, your career, because those are the people who are voting for you. And there's just something not right about that, because certain people disappear off the stage and go away. And then when you look at their numbers 20 years ago and you say, hey, how come they never got any consideration? Because they just left and went to Alaska and hunted bears. They didn't call games. They weren't around the thing. So I hope Mattingly makes it. But Mattingly in the Hall of Fame and Steve Garvey not in the Hall of Fame, to me, I don't think that's where Garvey was.
But I believe if Mattingly gets in, it opens the doors for Hernandez and Garvey.
I hope so, man, because Garvey left.
I'm not sure what you're saying. So you don't think that Jim Cott should be on the committee?
I think anyone that's personally friends with someone shouldn't. It's like being on a jury. If you walked in the jury room and your worst enemy was sitting on the jury, you'd be like, "Get that guy out of here." It's almost like it works the other way. If you're friends with the guy, you're not going to be impartial. I mean, we can admit that.
Yeah, but everybody has a relationship with any number of people that are on that list. I think Jim Cott would be above that. I mean, who knows what kind of relationship that Fergie Jenkins has, or Juan Marichal, or Tony Perez, or Trammell, or Smith, or Robin Yount. I don't think you could judge it that way, and it's not like a jury. You still have to get 75%. Juries can't convict somebody on 75%. Yeah, and if they're friends with somebody, they take them off because one person could hold up a conviction or an exoneration. But in this case, let's say that Jim Cott, who's in his 80s. I don't think he's that close with Donnie, who's 64 years old. Let's say that Jim Cott loves Don Mattingly, no matter what he's going to choose him. That doesn't mean Don Mattingly automatically gets in. It doesn't tilt it that much. You still need 12 votes out of the 16. Let's go to Tim. He's on the road. What's up, Tim?
I wanted to talk about this coaching issue
Okay.
with I think that the generational element is something that people have not really looked at, especially with Tibbs coming from an older generation and coaching millennials and younger generations. You know, they're the first generation that has been exposed to information independent of adults.
Mm-hmm.
They make their own decisions, come to their own conclusions. They collaborate with each other. They don't accept older generations as being authorities, and they crave collaboration. And I think that when you have someone who does not collaborate, that is something that is a turnoff to them.
Yep.
And I think that you have to have someone who's leading them who understands that generational difference. And it's not just in sports. It's in every issue and every industry. In the business world, they understand that. You have to understand the difference generationally and how the younger generation thinks about leadership and collaboration and the importance of it. And I think that that's something that all leaders in sports and whatever it is have to recognize the importance of collaboration to be effective in leading teams.
And I
think that's
Tim,
something that Tibbs didn't do.
Yeah, and that's what surprised me about Tibbs, because Tibbs is really smart. And all you have to do in this day and age is play the game. If you're going to be the guy who ultimately makes the decision, play the game. Why be the lone wolf? Why look down your nose at the information? Why look down your nose at the people that are paid to give you the information? Why not play the collaborative game? And maybe you'll uncover or unearth something that helps you win. It helps you win. Maybe in Tibbs' next stop, if he gets another job, although he's getting up there in age, he becomes that collaborative guy, because there are guys that are older that understand the value of the information and they go along with it. Terry Francona has been around forever. He's got 2 World Series titles. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame. You know, it's his way or the highway in terms of like the decisions made on the field, but he takes all that information in. He does. He took it in Cleveland. Cleveland's a very smart front office. But it ultimately came down to him how he wants to use it. But he didn't say, I don't want that information, or throw people out of the office. This is the bottom line. You've got to be able to play the game. And I'm not saying being a phony. Play the game. By being stubborn, the only way you win by being stubborn is if you win it all. And if you don't win it all, then it opens up the portal to then be picked apart or doubted, that your way doesn't work. I just think it's so much easier to be the guy who listens to everybody. And as front offices in sports become younger, it's not the grizzled old GM. It's just not like Trader Frank Lane. You know, used to be with with the Tigers. It's not that. It's not Ralph Houck in the Yankee front office. It's not Frank Cashin. These are young, bright people. Not that those people weren't bright, but they were smart in a different way. And they did a lot of stuff by the gut, because the information that these guys have now, it wasn't available. Now there's so much information available. And the good front offices, they whittle it down and they present that stuff to their leader. And again, in a perfect system, to me, that leader gets to pick and choose how he wants to use it. He's not demanded to use it, but he picks and chooses how to use it. You can make people feel as if they're part of the decision-making process. And the way it is, and we all, a lot of you people that call in, you fight back against this. Who wants those eggheads to like to make they're not making decisions. They're smart people. They went to the best colleges in the world, and they have information, and they give it to a manager, and they make suggestions.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
ZipRecruiter. ESPN New York is throwing a holiday party you don't want to miss. Join us Friday, December 12th at your mother's house in Garden City Park. We'll be broadcasting the Michael K. Show live from 1 to 3, followed by Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg from 3 to 7, all while supporting a great cause. Bring a toy to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation and help make the season brighter for local kids in need. It's the ESPN New York Holiday Party, Friday, December 12th, brought to you by Spike Aid, Security Dodge, Amazon Pickup, and ESPN New York.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
I so apologize, everybody. We had a little technical issue, which cut me short there, but I think you got the gist of what I was saying. I do want to remind you, FanDuel Friday is turning it up with NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonuses, surprises, all designed to bring that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo, it's your weekly pregame. NBA Happy Hour, every Friday, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Visit FanDuel.com/K to grab your reward before the clock expires. 21 plus, physically present in New York, opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Lions beat the Cowboys yesterday 44-30, I'm sorry. Jared Goff with a big night. Amon-Ra St. Brown did play. Jahmyr Gibbs with 3 touchdowns. So the Lions are now 8-5. They're alive. The Cowboys are 6-1, and so many things have to go right. And how often does that happen in life? I think the Cowboys are out of it. And the Cowboys right now are a really, really good team, but their defense could not stop the Lions yesterday. They lost C.D. Lamb to a concussion. There's some people questioning the effort put out by Pickens. Jerry Jones shot that down today. He said he didn't have the game that he's had in the past, but don't question that kid's effort. The bottom line, that's a gigantic loss for the Cowboys and an equally gigantic win for the Lions. A big game for them, a big victory for them on Thursday Night Football. Again, the Lions are 8-5. Cowboys are 6-1. Let's go to Jason in New Jersey. Jason.
Hey, Michael. How's it going? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it. Thanks for calling.
If the Yankees cap was going to be, around $300 million or be below $300 million, which I don't completely disagree with, but if that is going to be the case, I'm still very confused then as to why they put the qualifying offer out on Trent Grisham, because now you have locked in $22 million a year for a center fielder, right, who off of a career year, I'm not sure if he's going to be that same player. I mean, history says he's not. I think you could have gotten a lesser player for cheaper, maybe like a Harrison Bader who could play center field, or even, I know he's off the board now, but a Cedric Mullins, to get that same type of production that Grisham could have, minus the home runs, but great defense and be somewhat of the same player. If they're going to spend money, I know you mentioned in the past that you haven't heard much on it, but I think Edwin Diaz for the Yankees is a huge get. I really like David Bednar. He's cheap, controllable, but closers nowadays are like field goal kickers in the NFL. They come and go. 1 year they're great, 1 year they're bad. Bednar,
so why would you give Edwin Diaz 5 years?
Because Edwin Diaz has proven, especially in New York City and over the last few years, that he is one of the best closers in the league, and he is capable of being that guy for years.
Listen, Jason, I don't have any inside information, but I will tell you the Yankees will not be in on Edwin Diaz. Their bullpen, David Bednar had a great year coming over to the Yankees as a closer. He pitched very, very well. He's cost effective. And if there is a limitation on what they could spend, it's going to take 5 years, $100 million to sign Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If there is no limitation, that's something I would think would be worthwhile. And also,
so let me ask you: you sound like a smart fan. If there was no limitation, wouldn't you rather have Kyle Tucker than Edwin Diaz?
Honestly, I'm going to say I think Kyle Tucker's a great player, but no, because I really believe in Jason Dominguez as a rookie. If you watch, I know you listen and watch every single game, but the guy from the left side of the plate, which maybe he should bat only left-handed going forward, and that's something that Cedric Mullins did in the past. The way he commands the strike zone at the plate with his speed, I think he's a plus player. I just think he needs more time to grow at the plate and especially in the outfield. I mean, if he gets better defensively in the left field and continues to grow as a hitter, I think he's a plus winning player that's cheap and controllable for years.
Well, I'm not going to fight you on that.
Very high on him.
I think highly of him too. He's got to improve his right-handed hitting. Otherwise, he becomes a platoon player. But we also must remember he's 22 years old. He's below average defensively. That has to improve. In terms of, listen, I've questioned why they offered the qualifying offer to Grisham. The only thing that I could think of is maybe they knew it was going to be difficult to sign Bellinger, whose market is going to be robust, and he has Scott Boras as an agent. Yankees are engaged with him, but maybe they know that somebody's going to make an offer that they don't want to go there. Not because of the money. They don't believe in giving a 7-year deal or 6-year deal to him. So this way they know for sure they have a center fielder. It's a vast overpay, in my opinion, but maybe that was their hedge. At least we have him, that we know we have a center fielder, and then if we don't get back Bellinger, then we could go with either Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez. Maybe that's their thinking, but again, I don't think we should lock them into definitely under 300 or definitely over 300, because I think it's fluid. It always has been. There's always a dialogue between Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman. Let's go to Frankie in Florida. Frankie?
Hey, Michael. Thanks again for taking my call. Love your show.
Thank you.
I'd appreciate having some dialogue with you on both things that you're speaking about today. Certainly, I'll piggyback on that last call. I firmly believe the Yankees painted themselves into a corner signing Grisham, but maybe they did that for a purpose, and I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
The Yankees, I think their need with the people that they need are out there. I think hopefully you can agree with that. Starting with Bichette, right? He's the perfect fit. He's a leadoff hitter. He's a righty hitter. He uses the whole field. He grinds out at bats.
Let me stop you, Frank. Where are you putting him? He's a bad shortstop.
Well, he's a bad shortstop, but Volpe made the most errors in the league.
But Volpe's still much better behind the metrics. Volpe's a much better shortstop than Bichette, even with the errors.
Yes, fielding. I'm going to give you fielding. Okay, but the Blue Jays went to the World Series with Bichette.
But
right?
Let's put it this way: they won the same amount of games as the Yankees did, and the Yankees didn't get any production out of shortstop, so they won 94 games, and they went to the World Series not with Bichette playing shortstop, with Jimenez playing shortstop, and if they re-sign Bichette, he's going to be a second baseman. Jimenez is going to be the shortstop.
Okay, well that isn't so. Again, the addition to the lineup, I think, outweighs his defensive problems, and also that's fine if you move him to second base.
And
I have
what do
no
you do with
problem
Jazz?
moving him to second base.
What do you do with Jazz?
I'm sorry?
What do you do with Jazz?
Jazz becomes a great trade option, okay, for so many reasons. He's young. He's talented. He's a talented player.
But here's one deal. I don't know if there's going to be that many teams that are going to want to take a chance on Jazz Chisholm. I don't think that people were fighting the Yankees to get Jazz Chisholm from the Marlins.
Well, I think that they're a better team with Bichette because it balances their lineup and he puts the ball in play. He does all the things that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know they won't go sign Diaz. I think Diaz and Bednar combination would be outstanding. I get it. They won't do that. They're not going to spend that money. But I have a theory on that as well. And I also have a theory on why they signed Grisham, not only for insurance, just in case they weren't going to sign Bellinger, who they should also sign. Everybody they need is out there. Okay, I think the reason why they're not signing him is because of the shutdown that's coming up. Okay, because if things don't go the right way for the owners, okay, and with Cohen right next door, okay, who's going to spend trillions of dollars on Flushing, okay, the Yankees are going to be in deep trouble competing with that market. And maybe that's another reason why they only signed Grisham for 1 year, because we don't know what's going to happen next year at all. If it doesn't go the owner's way, there is no way that the Steinbrenners are going to be able to compete with Cohen. Okay, and maybe they're going to look to sell the team at that point.
Well, I mean, but we're really, Frankie, we're really getting into a lot of supposition here. We have no idea about that. They have not really. They keep saying that they like the player in Grisham. I think it's a vast overpay. If he was a free agent, he would not make near $22 million. And if there is a little bit of a restriction on what you're going to spend or what your payroll is going to be, that's not the perfect allocation of that money. I agree with all of that, but I think you're getting too deep into because of the lockout and stuff like that. Hal Steinbrenner, when you had that Zoom call with me, he said they're operating the same way they would operate if there was no labor unrest at all. So I think all teams are operating that way. And if anything, you can sign somebody to a long-term contract, and if baseball is, for instance, shut down in 2027, that long-term contract becomes 1 year shorter. You don't have to pay that money. I mean, that's not the way to root, but I think it's way too complicated for us to sit here and suppose this is what's going to happen. They can't compete. Even with Cohen and Guggenheim partners being as aggressive and non-caring whether or not they lose money or not, the Yankees still are top 3 in payroll every single year. So they're not getting dwarfed by other teams. And if there's 2 teams that dwarf them, that still doesn't mean that the Yankees can't win. The Mets had a $340 million payroll last year. They didn't make the playoffs. The Dodgers had over a $400 million payroll. They made the playoffs as a wild card, and they won fewer games than the Yankees did. So I know that you could tie success to payroll. I think that you can tie mistakes made and the ability to buy out from those mistakes to payroll. But if you're a smart team and you put together a good roster, you don't have to overspend. The Blue Jays had the 5th highest payroll, and they went to within the 11th inning of the 7th game and almost won the World Series. So, again, if you told me that baseball was going to blow out the Yankees in terms of their ability to compete, I'd have to fight you on that. Because, the Cohen phenomenon has been there for 5 years. The Guggenheim phenomenon has been there even longer. And the Yankees are either first or second and now third in payroll. So you can't say they don't compete. They had a $320 million payroll last year. And if there's 2 owners that want to go rogue, there's 28 owners that will not go there. And the Mets proved last year you could spend a truckload, a boatload of money and still not make the playoffs. So it's not exclusively tied to how much you spend, whether or not you're going to be successful. Does it help? I'll put it this way. If you're a smart organization and you can spend whatever you want, then the likelihood of you competing for a championship every single year is excellent. And that's why the Yankees compete every single year. Not only do they have an extraordinarily high payroll, they have a really smart front office. So they'll always compete. Now, the naysayers are going to be calling in right now and go, well, they haven't won a championship since 2009. Yeah, they haven't. But they're in the World Series in 2024. Every year they go into the season and you think they have a chance to win a championship and they compete for it. And if they get knocked out in the playoffs, yeah, they got knocked out in the playoffs. So it's not perfect. But never do they show up and not have a competitive team that has a chance to win a championship. I'd like to give me the year when that happened. The last year of Girardi, they came into that season hoping that they were going to compete, and then they broke it down, and they still competed. And they got to Game 7 of the ALCS. So they're always going to be competitive, whether or not the payroll's 300 or 320 or whatever the case may be. In a perfect world, do they want Bellinger back? I'm sure they do. But if they don't get him back, does that mean they're not going to be competitive? I can't see that happening. Two-pack for sure coming back. We'll take more phone calls as well, leading into Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The K-Show rolls on right here on ESPN New York.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2025. Last chance! Donate now for a 2025 tax deduction.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Listen up, football fans. Never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Friends, it's football season, the best time of the year. You should be out there tailgating, cheering on your team, and enjoying every Sunday. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. You don't have to live like that. There's help. Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain is New Jersey's top pain specialist. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, and is dedicated to helping you get back in the game. Here's what makes the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical image-guided procedures that deliver real results. Dr. Shaw treats neck pain, back pain, joint pain, migraines, nerve pain, and sciatica with a plan that's customized for you. Same-day and next-day appointments are available, and with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, relief is always close. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Visit SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Most major insurances are accepted. That's SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Everyone wants the Emirates NBA Cup.
The temperature is rising.
30 teams started. Bang! But only 8 have advanced to the single elimination knockout rounds. To survive, they'll have to be hungry, relentless, ruthless.
Are you kidding me?
They all want the cup, but only one team can claim it. Who will capture the cup? Emirates NBA Cup knockout rounds begin Tuesday on Prime.
Welcome back to the show. You know the music, right? That means it's time for two-pack. For sure, I make 2 picks in the NFL this coming weekend. I'm 1 game under 500 for the year. I was 1-1 last week. I had a bad stretch of 2 weeks where I was 0-3-1. All the games decided by half point. So I had luck against me. Hopefully it's turning with the 1-1 from last week. I told you 2 non-descriptive games. Sometimes you could get bargains on the non-descriptive games. Sometimes people want to bet the games that are high profile. That's not me. My first pick, it's the Browns against the Titans. It can't get worse than that. The dregs of the NFL. But I'm going to dive in and make a pick on this. The Browns are 4-point favorites over the Titans. It's in Cleveland. The weather is supposed to be brutal. I think Myles Garrett is going to have a big day. He'll be all over the quarterback for Tennessee. So I think the combination of the cold weather and Myles Garrett and the fact that the Titans, in their 11 losses, right? The Titans, 10 of the 11 losses have been by 6 points or more. So I'll give the 4 points and hope that Shedeur Sanders is able to direct the offense to a couple of scores, and the Titans are kept off the board. So that's my first pick in Cleveland. Give me the Browns. I'll give the 4 points to the Titans. The second game, it's the Rams 8-point favorites over the Cardinals. This game will be in Arizona. The Cardinals, they've played okay. They came within a 4-point spread last week, so much closer than you thought it would be. But the Rams are coming off a really dispiriting loss. And since mid-October, thanks to the New York Post on this, 5 of the 6 wins by the Rams have been 14 points or more. So you'd look at the 8 points here and say, well, that's a pretty Zoftig number, and it is. But this is a team, the Cardinals, that when they lose, they usually lose by a lot of late. Again, 5 of their 6 losses have been by a lot since mid-October. So I'm going to take the Rams. I'll give the 8 points over the Cardinals. Again, that game is in Phoenix. My 2-pack, I'll take the Browns giving 4 over the Titans. I'll take the Rams giving 8 over the Cardinals. The Jets, 3-point underdogs to the Dolphins. The Jets, by the way, interesting stat. I didn't even realize it. Could have made some money on this. The Jets are 8-4 against the spread this year. That's the best against the spread for any team in the AFC. And you might have heard Ira say it earlier. Justin Fields, according to Rich Cimini, reported knee soreness on Wednesday. He's been ruled out for Sunday, according to Aaron Glenn. So the rookie Brady Cook will be QB2. And according to Rich, Aaron Glenn on Cook said, quote, he's going to be a quarterback in this league. I can't tell you when, but he'll be a quarterback in this league. Will he play on Sunday? We shall see. The Dolphins have been playing much better of late. We'll see how the Jets do. So the Jets 3-point underdogs to the Dolphins. And the Jets, let's see if they can put up another win and aggravate their fans who want them to continue to lose. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Steve in Pearl River. Steve.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Steve.
So people have been calling. The people are calling with all these proposals and these trades, and most of these proposals, they add payroll. It's like they're tone deaf. All right? They're not. It's like they don't hear what management, ownership, what's being said by the Yankees, for better or for worse. So and the young players that the Yankees have are under control for an extended period of time, and they're likely not going to be traded because, like I just said, everything I'm hearing, it's like these people are tone deaf. It adds payroll, one way or the other. I'm not saying, and I don't know if the Yankees aren't going to do it, but via trade, I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but I'm not seeing that as something highly likely.
I think, Steve, what it comes down to, fans don't have to deal with the realities of the market. So, it's like they're going down the aisle at Neiman Marcus, and they want the most expensive things. I can't blame fans. They want the best players. They want the best player at every single position. So we've had fans calling in, well, I want Edwin Diaz and Kyle Tucker. Tim Britton of The Athletic is estimating that Tucker's contract is going to be $450 million. They're not going to do that. Not when Aaron Judge, who's underpaid now, makes $40 million a year and signed a $360 million contract. And as good a player, and he's younger than Aaron, as Kyle Tucker is, he's not Aaron Judge. So, I mean, there has to be some rational thought applied here. You've got a really good closer who did a really good job and proved that he could pitch in big games and pitch in New York, and David Bednar, who's going to make about $4 or $5 million this year, and people want them to go out and spend $20 million a year for 5 years on Edwin Diaz. I don't even know if the Mets will do that. So you could dream big, and then if the Yankees don't do what you want them to do, you could say, okay, they're cheap. Listen, I'm not going to convince you otherwise, and the Yankees aren't going to convince you otherwise. And I think the stark contrast now is that there's somebody across town that looks like he doesn't care if he loses money because he has lost money. Now, will he have a come-to-Jesus moment? Was last year the come-to-Jesus moment where he had a $340 million payroll, Steve Cohen, and they still didn't make the playoffs? They lost out to the Reds for the final wild card spot? Maybe he will. Or maybe he'll spend out of his mind again. Who knows? But the Yankees are going to do it in a way that they've always done it. They're going to try to be smart about it. And if Hal Steinbrenner wants to payroll, as he said it would be ideal if it's under 300, then that's what they'll do. And they'll put together a good team. But, they got to get Bichette. They got to get Diaz. They got to get Tucker and Bellinger. You're not going to do that. Why don't you throw in Framber Valdez, too? Throw in the pitcher from Japan, Amai, as well. Just drive the payroll up to $500 million. That's what people want. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So you could dream as big as you want, and you could get as angry as you want if it doesn't turn out the way you dream, but that's not going to happen. It just won't. It won't. They had a really good team last year. They were unbelievable offensively. And even without Bellinger, they still have a really good offensive team. Do I want Bellinger back? Of course I do. I think they do as well. But there becomes an economic reality to things as well. You can't get everything you want. That's the way it is in life, and that's the way it is in baseball. And those that say, well, the Yankees have $700 million in revenue, They should drive the payroll of $500 million. They're not going to do that, and they shouldn't do that. And when Steinbrenner says, you don't need a $300 million payroll to win the World Series, I think he's right. And I know that every Yankee fan, they're going to bring up what they spend on the chicken bucket at Yankee Stadium. I get it. You guys, you put a lot into being a fan, and I'm not disparaging that. It's impressive. But I think the Yankees give you a really good team every single year, and I don't think this year is going to be any different. Might not be what you're dreaming, might not be your fantasy for a roster, but it's going to be a good team, and it's going to compete for the top of the American League East with the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Orioles. That's just the facts. It's always been that way. It's always going to continue to be that way. They're never going to come into a season where they're going to have a really lousy team. Might not be the team you dream of, but it's going to be a good team. All right, so the Jets and the Dolphins, that's this Sunday. We got the Veterans Committee, for lack of a better phrase, voting whether or not Don Mattingly gets in. That'll be on Sunday. We'll have so much to talk about on Monday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody. Coming up, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Talk to you Monday at 1.